Hey guys, and welcome to the last section that you're going to be doing on Edpuzzle for this chapter. This is section 7.6, working backwards. Bear with me. You guys know I've had a cold. I'm not here obviously today because I am out sick, so I'm recording this with a mouse, so I don't have my Mobi to write on, so the writing's not going to be fantastic, but just pay attention, take some notes while you're doing this, and then you're going to have a worksheet for homework tonight. So, section 7.6, working backwards. So, just to refresh what we've been doing, if we see this, we've got 2 times the quantity of x minus 3. We can distribute because this implies multiplication. They're right next to each other. So we've got 2 times x minus 2 times 3. So 2 times x is 2x. And 2 times 3 is 6, so 2x minus 6. You can also do the rectangle. It's up to you which one you prefer. So 2x is a width, and x and negative 3 are parts and components of the length. We're going to split that up. 2 times 1 is 2, and x times x is x squared. Don't forget that. 2x times a negative 3 is negative 6x. So the answer altogether is 2x squared minus 6x. All right, so taking a look at the types of problems you're going to see today, we're going to be working with this, but in reverse. And we'll also have a couple of story problems. So here's your first one. After leaving home, you drive about 10 miles at 60 miles per hour. You stop and eat for 35 minutes and drive back home for 40 miles per hour. If you get home at 1:30 p.m., what time did you leave? So reread the problem if you have to, but I'm going to give you a couple minutes to strategize and try some stuff before we start going through this answer. And since the pause button wasn't working on Edpuzzle, you just get to sit and listen to wonderful sounds. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at how you might approach this problem. And some of you might have already had some of the strategies that if we know we get home at 1:30, we can automatically take off the time that it took us to eat. So if we minus 35 minutes, well, that takes off 30, but we have an extra 5 to take off from 1 o'clock. So 5 minutes before 1 o'clock is 12:55. So we start out leaving our house. Here's a 4-year-old version of a house picture. Gotta have a window. Doorknob. You're driving to a restaurant, stopping, eating there, wherever it is, and then returning home. We're going at different rates. Still 10 miles. That's our distance. And our rate is 60 miles per hour. The way home, we're still going 10 miles, except our rate is slower. So some of you might have tried a couple different things, but you really need to think, which one is going to take more time, on the way there or on the way home? And that answer is on the way home, because we're going slower. So if I take a look at this, we can do a formula, which is, let's just type this, the distance equals your rate times your time. So if we use this formula, we see that 10 miles, that's our distance, has to equals our rate, which is our speed, times however long it took. So if we simplify this, if we divide by 60 miles per hour to both sides, we get 1/6. 1/6 of an hour is how long it took us to get to the restaurant. Well, there are 60 minutes in an hour. So if I have 1/6 of those, that means it's going to take me 10 minutes to get there. So I need to take off that 10 minutes. So that puts us at 12:45. So we're getting closer. We're going to do that same thing again. We've got 10 miles. We're driving at a rate of 40 miles per hour this time, times however long it took us to get there. So if we do that same equation solving again, divide by 40 to both sides, divide by 40 to both sides, we get 1/4 of an hour this time is our time. So if we think about a clock, sorry for the bad circle, split it into quarters, minute-wise, what would be over here? That'd be 15 minutes. So 15 minutes to get back, which makes sense because it's slower than 10, puts us at 12:30. So if you said 12:30, you were correct. Other types of problems that you're going to look at are going to look like this. So please copy this in your notebook. 3x squared plus 2x equals something times 3x plus 2. And what I said earlier, we're going to be doing the reverse of what we did for our warm-up. In our warm-up, we distributed, and we got an answer. So these two things are equivalent, and this is like what you're seeing on that problem. So 3x squared plus 2x equals something times 3x plus 2. Well, whatever this something is, we would distribute it to the first term and the second term. So what would we have to multiply 3x by to get 3x squared? And 2 by to get 2x? Well, that value is x, and x is going to go in the blank. This one is similar, it's just a little bit longer. Instead of 2 terms, it has 3 terms. So negative 4x cubed minus 10x squared plus 2x is negative 2x times the quantity of something plus something equals negative 1. If you like the distribution, you can go backwards like this, and distribute it again. If you are really good at the area model and you like that, you can also set that up for this. So we'd write negative 2x right here. We've got our something, so our square, and then we'd have negative 1. Now I know that when we write those in, This gives us negative 4x cubed. That's that first term. Then we would have a negative 10x squared. And over here, we'd have 2x. So if I take negative 2x times negative 1, that is 2x. Negative 2x times something equals negative 10x squared. And that's what's represented right here. Or right here, sorry. Negative 2x times something is negative 10x squared. So to get that squared to happen there, I need to at least have an x here. And to get negative 10 from negative 2, I need to multiply by 5. So this is 5x. And if I have negative 4x cubed, and a negative 2x to the first is being multiplied, I need to make sure I'm multiplying by an x squared. And then the coefficient, negative 4 from negative 2, that means I had to multiply by a 2. So 2x squared. So these are the types of problems that we're going to be doing. This one is the same idea, except you're missing what's in front now. Something times this term is 24x cubed. Same something in front times this term is 32x squared. And this times negative 5 is negative 40x. Well, that's one that I can figure out. Something times negative 5x equals a negative 40x. Well, we know that it has to be a positive because my answer was negative. And negative 40 divided by negative 5 is 8. So 8's going to go in front, and that's going to help me figure out the rest. 8 times what is 16? Well, that's 2. 8 times blank is 32x squared. Well, that should be 4x squared. And 24 is 8 times 3x cubed. So your multiplication table might help you a little bit here today. And that's really it. Your worksheet should be pretty easy to figure out after watching this video. Alright, I'll see you guys tomorrow.